Hi, I'm Maunette with the Star-Herald, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Table Talk. This week, I'm sitting down with Lance Kite of the Scottsbluff Police Department, and Lance is joining us because he just recently was promoted to captain. Congratulations, Lance.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
I'm sure you're very excited.
I am.
What are you looking forward to now that you're a captain? How does that change things for you?
Well, I'm moving from the investigative side, supervising a team of investigators. Now I'll be in charge of the operations of the department, which includes the patrol officers, the patrol supervisors. So I'm excited about it. It's definitely going to be a new challenge. There's a lot of things I have to learn, but I'm certainly looking forward to it.
And how long have you been with the department now?
In May, it'll be 22 years.
Oh, wow. And can you tell me a little bit about how you came to join the? First off, how did you come into law enforcement? What about it interested you? And then how did you end up coming to the Scottsbluff Police Department?
I can remember as a kid wanting to serve people, whether that was the military route. I certainly remember probably around the age of 10 or 11 having thoughts of becoming involved with law enforcement. At the time, Miami Vice was a very popular TV show. It ages me a little bit. But it always fascinated me. It looked interesting. The work looked interesting. So after I finished high school, I attended Northwest College in Powell, Wyoming. After I completed my associates, the counselor there told me that I could transfer to a place called Chadron State College, and I jumped right into my junior coursework. All my credits would transfer over. I had never been to Nebraska that I can remember. So from Powell, Wyoming, I went to Chadron, transferred there, and majored in criminal justice. After I completed my bachelor's, my dad had pushed me strongly, suggested that I go on to obtain my master's. So that's what I did. I went to Laredo, Texas, to Texas A&M International, and obtained my master's in criminal justice. After I'd done that, then I began the process of putting in applications. I put in some for Texas, but I was ready to get out of Texas. I enjoyed the seasons, and I wanted to be closer to my dad. So I saw that Scottsbluff was testing. I'd been to Scottsbluff maybe once or twice when I was in Chadron. And long story short, Chief Livingston called me and said, "You ready to start? When can you start?" And that's how I ended up here.
Awesome. So you didn't grow up in the area, but your wife did, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, my wife is from the valley, so I've accepted the fact that I'll never leave.
You're never going to go. Well, then we'll still have you at the Scottsbluff Police Department for a while. So, what are some of the ways that law enforcement has changed since you first joined the department more than 20 years ago?
The technology side has certainly changed everything about police work, from body-worn cameras to how we conduct our investigations. Now police officers have to be very versed in Snapchat, Facebook, all the different apps that are out there. And we currently have one investigator, that's his primary specialty, if you will, is working on the electronic sides of things. He knows so much and does so well with it that people will go to Investigator Kiesel and ask, how do I do this? This is from other agencies in the Panhandle. So that has definitely changed a lot of things on how we do our police work. I can remember another area used to be child abuse reports. We used to receive them in the mail from HHS.
Oh boy.
And by that time, it had been a few days, and the caseworker had already gone out, and basically the case was over. Now, it's not uncommon that I come to work, and there'll be 6, 7, 8 from the time I left at 4 till I get there at 8. So that's vastly increased our workload. So there's lots of different areas that have changed since the time I've been here, and I think overall for the better.
Yeah.
I like for example, the body cameras. They do provide some transparency, and we certainly don't have anything to hide when we do our jobs.
Yeah, they're also a useful tool for you guys in training, I understand, from Sergeant Eckerberg.
Yeah, that has really opened up a whole different, I guess, view of police training. We can actually show those body camera footage from different agencies, and we can not necessarily critique the officer, but
Right.
we can go back and say, how would you have handled this different?
Yeah.
So that real life situation really does add a valuable training component.
Yeah. So what are some of the ways that the community has changed that has also affected the way that law enforcement has to change? Body cameras is probably one of those where a kind of a community, I guess, need or want has changed law enforcement. What are some of the other ways? You mentioned social media, so that's definitely expanded some availability to potential victims. So,
sure. The technology side is very critical. We have on our Facebook page links where you can report anonymously a sexual assault. You can email the police department directly with any concerns. You can make a suggestion for an attaboy, if you will, for an officer, or you can file a complaint. So I think that really helps the public stay in touch with us. Another thing that's very beneficial, I think a couple different things, is the work Chief Spencer has put into with Coffee with the Cop.
yeah.
Going out. Of course, COVID has really changed that for us. But tremendous opportunity for people just to come out and see us. Another very popular event we have is the National Night Out. Very, very popular. And I'm sure you remember, people were pretty bummed out when that was canceled this summer, just because we were trying to deal with COVID. So all those interactions, the talking to the people, actually putting a face to the badge definitely helps out. So we're very, very much out there with the public and want to work with them and hear what they have to say. So
when as the captain, I believe you guys have an operations captain and an investigative captain. Am I remembering correctly, or?
You have operations captain, which is the patrol side, and then a support services captain, which is Captain Wasson. He manages the front office staff as well as the investigative services. The day-to-day operations is handled by administrative sergeant, which will be Sergeant Cody Enlow, hopefully very soon.
But you'll be dabbling back now in the patrol side, which it's been a little while since you've been on patrol, hasn't it?
It has. I would fill in from time to time, as especially with COVID, we have some people out, and I would fill in. The technology in the cars with the new records management system and computer-aided dispatch is different, but I can get around a little bit.
I know you can. But I'm sure that it'll be a nice change of pace, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Too. It's always nice to, I don't know, be multidisciplined. It's probably maybe the right word for it.
Yeah, I very much look forward to it. The patrol side of any police department is the backbone of the organization. They are the most visible, so I'm very much looking forward to working with them and doing some good for the citizens of Scottsbluff.
And Chief Spencer had mentioned last time he was here, which was just about a week ago, that you guys have seen an increase in reports during summer. Some agencies are reporting a decline in reports, but the Scottsbluff Police Department has seen an increase during this last 7 months, or 9 months actually, of the pandemic. What are some of the things that you guys are seeing more reporting of? What are some of your most common incidents, I guess?
Well, I hate to say a standard crime, but the more typical things such as burglaries or thefts from motor vehicles and things of that nature where somebody's out perhaps late at night and just kind of going to garages and maybe stealing things or just checking car doors to see if they're unlocked. I've noticed a lot of that. That's been keeping investigative staff steady, trying to clear those out. Perhaps a slight uptick in child abuse reports. But generally from year to year, over the years I've been doing, it's fairly steady, a pretty steady number each year. But again, crime kind of comes and goes, and it has a lot of different factors. But definitely with people being home, creates its own unique challenges. For sure.
On the thefts from vehicles, is that a seasonally related crime, or is that tied to the pandemic, fewer people working or something? Or do you guys even really know? Because sometimes those are just because someone is committing those crimes and has others joining them, so there's a crime spree for a little bit.
Yeah, sometimes it's a specific individual that goes out and causes havoc and generates a lot of reports just by victimizing the citizens here. Sometimes there might be a couple people involved, but generally no more than that, which thefts from motor vehicles, your electronics, your purses, cash, things like that, I would argue always ties back into probably a narcotic nexus.
Yeah. And of course the best way to not become a victim is to prevent it by taking your stuff in and locking your garages and stuff in the first place.
Absolutely. Just take that extra time, lock your car doors, take your valuables out, lock the garage, lock your house out. So.
So are there any areas of focus that the department is looking at in the next year, especially with some changes in leadership, like bringing yourself on as the newest captain? Or?
Well, right now, I'm trying to learn my job and figure out where I need to be and make sure that I'm getting the tasks done that Chief Spencer requires. But again, it's a broken record out there. You hear this over and over, but COVID really threw a wrench in some things. But I think I'm optimistic that we're getting over the hump of that, and we'll be able to really start to focus our efforts on some goals. But it's just critical that we get through this COVID thing right now.
And right now we're still a little uncertain how long right now is going to be. It might be a few months. Hopefully not longer, not too much longer.
Yeah, I don't think any one of us would have thought it'd been a year.
I didn't think it would be a year. Last March I wouldn't have projected we'd still be talking about it today.
I don't think anybody was. So the impacts they had with schools, the colleges, people's work has just been tremendous. So get over that hump and we can really start to focus and pull up some long-term goals for the department. And I'm excited to do that.
Yeah, well, we're excited to have you joining as captain now. It'll be interesting to see what the next year brings for all of us with the pandemic and changes coming because of it. So, well, thank you for joining us for Table Talk, and of course, thank you to Captain Kite. Visit Star-Herald.com for more coverage of the Scottsbluff Police Department and the community. Thank you.